These are the cold, hard facts of putting. If you're a 20 handicapper, you average 4 3-putts per round. So on 20% of greens, we're messing up. 15 handicapper, slightly better, averaging 3.3 3-putts per round. And if you're a 10 handicapper, you average 2.6 3-putts per round. That's wasting 4 shots, that's wasting 3 shots, that's practically still wasting 3 shots. So just by improving putting, you could be 3 shots better. Now this is not just a normal putting lesson. We're looking at stance, stroke, and what I classify as such a big part of putting, the mental aspect. Like really, this is just, I've done a lot of work with Carl Morris, very well known within the mental game for tour level. So I'm going to share some of those secrets with you. And actually, good point this time actually. We're going to have him on the channel coming very soon, which is something we've all got to look forward to.
Tess, where did you actually get these from?
I think it was Arcos, which is one of the well-renowned systems you put on the end of your club, and this is the data that they captured over the course of the seasons. I think it was 2023-2024 season, which are pretty damning. Now, after years caddying on tour, I've been fortunate to experience a lot of good putters. So I've narrowed it down to 5 keys that I think we should all think about and know when we're putting. So it's time. It's back, Em. Can I give you this hat?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I have to put this on my head. And you can then see exactly what I can see, which is so important if we're going to improve. Now, the first aspect, I want a relatively wide stance. Now, these are just wide of shoulder width apart. And having a look at this in the player cam perspective, I just think this gives us a much better chance of keeping everything solid. That is number 1. I feel like a bit of a melon with this on my head right now. And people over there are probably looking,
yeah, they are.
What the heck is he doing?
He's looking behind you thinking, what is that guy doing?
What is he doing? Okay, the next point number 2 is ball position. Don't want it towards the middle. Now, I know in the past you'd have been told middle is good, but we want to understand now the putting stroke wants to be a slightly upward stroke. So I like to have it, if my stance was 1-2 club head widths apart, roughly, I'd want to have it on the front half of my stance. That is point number 2. Number 3 on my list, I like to have my eyes, and I give you a little bit of margin of error here with this. I like to have my eyes from just over the golf ball to just inside. I never want to have my eyes all the way back here, and I never want to be eyes too over this way, and you can sort of get that perspective from the player cam here. So my eyes want to be just inside to just on the golf ball. From that down the line perspective, there would be an arrow or a line coming from my eyes there over and onto the ball. Right, and for the rest of these, I don't need this on my head, so can I have my hat back, please? Swap. God, I was so conscious then of those people. So conscious. Right.
Well.
This is so important. Solid legs is number 4 on my list. I've never seen a good putter work with their knees. I want you to have really solid legs and really solid to always like up to that rib cage. It's sort of not locked in, but I use the word solid. My feet are planted to help that as well, okay?
So are you suggesting that a lot of club golfers don't do that?
What I'm suggesting, yeah, is a lot of golfers go really narrow.
Why do they go narrow though? What do they feel like the benefit is of going narrow?
I feel they make it a little more delicate.
Right.
Like they sort of go, okay, yeah, I'm in here, I can be a little more delicate. And then the narrower we are, the more we become a little bit flicky, a little bit wishy-washy within that shot. So I like, let's go through those from the top. Wide stance, weight 50-50 through the feet, nice solid legs, eyes over that golf ball. And my final point here, Em, you'll notice my shaft angle is running sort of through my forearms, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's never down here, now coming out of my forearms. I like to have it up here.
And is that kind of you naturally get into that position because of the way the rest of your body's set up?
I would say yes is the answer to that question, but it has taken me time to get into that and get used to it.
So what routine could you suggest for people to...
So I would, let's grab these balls back. This is how I think about a bit of a routine with this. And you're also probably thinking, Alex, what are you thinking grip-wise? Well, little rules of thumb that I'll add to this, but not really that important because I know we all like to have different grips. I like to have the hands and the palms facing. You can go left below right, right below left. Just trying to make these shoulders as level as possible. I'm not going to tell you how to grip it because that's very individual. But routine-wise, I'd address it, get my eyes over, encourage that shaft to be taller, in. That's where I am. Really solid, and now I've got a best chance of making that putt. Oh, just a little bit low. Good effort that though. Really good effort. So that's part one. Next, we've got to talk about the stroke.
Now, I know you know this, but I've been using Vice for a couple of years now, and I really trust the Pro Plus golf ball. In fact, it's my favorite golf ball out of the Vice range. Now, right now, you've got cyber bundles and Christmas bundles available to either you or to give somebody this Christmas. To access these savings, just click the link down below in the description or in the comments area, and you could be gaming a Vice golf ball just like me. So as I say, click that link, find the golf ball that suits you, and start gaming it right away. Let's get back to the video.
Here's a question for you. Do you find that golfers spend too much time or too little time over the golf ball? And I mean, none of us like slow play, but when it comes to putting, do you think that people just rush it a little bit?
Yeah, I think people are like wishy-washy. So they just think because there's not loads to go wrong in the sense of losing a golf ball, having a stroke penalty, we just go, oh yeah, okay, right, yeah, I'll hit that putt.
Yeah, there's no obstacle really. I mean, I guess if you read the green wrong or it could bobble over something, but it's not like you've got a bunker of water, is it?
Exactly, and go back to those stats. If you're 20 handicapper, you're 3-putting 4 times. It's 4 stupid wasted shots.
That's quite a lot when you think about it.
Yeah, that's the difference between breaking 90.
Yeah.
In put it like that. Okay, stroke-wise, this is what I want you to think about. This all stays solid. The stroke wants to come from your upper arms and your shoulders. Anything below your elbow wants to stay relatively firm. I don't want you to be a tin man or tin lady or tin person, but I really want you to feel there's a softness in the upper arm and the shoulders, and that's where...
You always say rock the shoulders.
Yeah, but I think it's probably people go, well, what is rocking the shoulders? It's such a hard thing to think about. So if you think, okay, this is solid, they're solid, this below my elbow is relatively solid, it comes from the upper arm and the shoulder, that's a great way of doing it. Now, I actually have a great drill. Grab a T-peg, pop it in the end of your grip, just like that, okay? Just like that. Really good this, because straight away, you can see if we get flicky. Look how that T-peg now points back at my trail forearm. We've got to avoid pointing that back at that trail forearm, back at the trail forearm.
Ah, yeah. So it's like instant feedback.
Yeah, so if I keep the lower half of my elbow to my hands relatively firm, and it comes from my upper arm and my shoulders, that T-peg stays more pointing at me. Oh, looked out. It's a little bit firm, that too far. I didn't really look how hard I was hitting it. I was more concentrating on the quality of that as opposed to a flicky stroke. And being really realistic and honest about this, that's the best way to get a stroke that works for you. Nice bit of simple feedback, don't get too flicky, upper arm and shoulders, and stay solid and firm in everywhere else.
I guess if you keep getting used to when you're practicing, having the tee, I'm just trying to think, how can you remind yourself of it pointing
on the
back at
course?
you? Yeah, on the course.
I would just say don't put usually this is black, it can be different colours, but don't point that at your trail forearm when you're putting on the through stroke. And that is literally what the T-peg does. I think that's a good way.
Yeah.
That's a good way, I just thought about that now. So you could stand there and you could go there, not there, there, and everybody flicks at it, and that's why we push, pull, do all sorts with it. Right, the final aspect, this is big. I mentioned the mental aspect. You might think it's trivial. I think it's quite possibly the most important part of this video. Visualizing the stroke. This is where your subconscious can really help you perform a much better stroke. Now, my keys and my tips for this is if I'm stood behind my golf ball here, right? I'm really imagining, you know what, I'm thinking the GoPro might be needed here.
Oh.
So the GoPro back.
Right. Swapsies.
Swapsies, let's have the GoPro back. Because I think this is going to be great. So bad, I know. So bad. But I'm just thinking right now, out loud, this now, if we visualise the putt, and I turn that there so you can see the putt, I want you to stand behind the putt and not just look for the slope. I want you to visualize a few things. I want you to almost make a shot tracer where you can see the ball and what red line it is taking into that cup. So here, I'm imagining it going up that left side and going in. So you're imagining the line. Then from there, you're going to picture what speed it's going to enter the hole. The slower it enters the hole, the more burrow it's going to take. The faster, the more straighter you could hit this putt. But really imagine and run your eyes from the ball to the hole 3 times and back. 1, 2, 3. And then you're in a much better place to visualize what's going on, as opposed to just going, oh yeah, it looks a little bit left to right, it looks a little bit right to left. That's not important to anybody. Right, I'm visualizing that, get my ball position, get my setup points, that becomes silky smooth. You got a much better chance of holding the putt. Here we go. This wind's tough, you know, today.
It is. Well, you can hear
Look how windy it is.
You can hear the wind.
That could be it. That could be it. Whoa! But that was a little bit low in my visualization, but that's exactly how you can be so much better. So let's just summarize this quickly. Number 1, we had wide stance. Number 2, ball forward. Okay. Number 3.
Eyes over the ball.
Yeah.
God.
Oh.
That's it over.
Yeah, I mean, my writing's terrible. Solid legs. And we'll just put shaft through forearm, but we know what that means. They're my 5 keys, okay? And then we talked about the stroke. Just put, for this, T-peg drill, right? T-peg drill. Dead easy. Don't point it at your trail forearm. And then mental, think about the red line, visualize, I'm not even going to try and spell that, but viz.
You get some hate for your spelling.
I know. Hole out speed, taking the break, and we'll leave it right there. And that's how you're going to improve those stats right there. Thanks so much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel.